start with the parts that form the understructure of the walkway. Using a PVA wood glue, glue in between the slots. You'll see them slide together quite easily. Work your way around so all 4 get done. 2 hands for beginners. Might seem a little awkward, but I am trying to keep in mind of the camera angle so you can see what I'm doing. And you can just see applying glue into the slot. Don't have to make it too excessive, otherwise you're only going to have to wipe it away later. With that done, we'll put it out of the way and just bring in a box or some type of structure that's going to help with your assembly, so you can leave parts dangling down as well as sticking up. It's very much a 3D object, so it just makes for easier assembly if you're not working on a completely flat surface. Just going to move this to the side for a moment while we glue the main plate itself. You want to run glue between the 2 slots at the end of each board, like so, and then down each edge from one slot all the way down to the other one. On the outside, as you can see there, of the slots. This is a lot easier than trying to put glue on the undercarriage itself. Now we'll bring the frame back over, lay our plate down, and the 4 posts are going to slide in at each corner. Not quite visible there, but once I've got it in, I can then show you the 4 posts that have slid through the holes. Giving it a bit of a push. The good thing with PVA wood glue is we've got plenty of work time. Now I'm just going to use an old brush, best if the bristles are damp, just to wipe away excess glue. You don't want that glue to go dry and harden, leaving great gobs of it in places you don't want. So just eliminate the excess. I found a brush works a lot easier than trying to get paper towel into tight corners and nooks and crannies. A brush can really get in there and get the remainder of the glue out. Work your way around. Be sure to check the outside edge and the inside. Be sure to work around the corners where those posts slid up and in. With a little bit of compression there, you'll see the glue come out of those interlocking slots. Now I'm going to put glue just on the edge of each slot, as so. This is getting ready for the rest of the posts to be inserted. We've got contact there. We've also got contact on the outside edge. So just running parallel and at effectively a right angle to the slot itself. Spin that around to do the other side. And then, a bit difficult to see here, putting glue in each slot that's present on that undercarriage. In the video it looks like I'm just going back over old ground, but I'm actually putting it into the slot on that side piece. Then we can take our fence posts, should be 8 of them, one at a time, in the shown fashion. And sorry for the awkwardness, I'm trying to get a good shot with the camera as well to show you. But basically, if that's sitting flat, there really is no issue at all getting the posts in quite easily. Make sure you put them in the right way around. Again, you can see how the box makes it a bit easier to work with a three-dimensional object. I mean the box underneath, I should say. Just allows me to insert pieces excuse me, in a downward motion without really making a mess of things. Now again, work around with a damp brush. I say damp because it's makes for a lot easier cleanup than a dry one. And the brush can always go back into a pot of water to be rinsed out. Obviously use an old brush, one that you're not using for painting anymore. But if you rinse out the brush at the end of every session, the end of each piece that you make, give it a thorough dry on some paper towel, you won't have any issues. Just makes it quite easy to remove that excess glue. Again, be sure to do the inside of those posts as well as the outside when this terrain starts stacking up and you're getting a nice model's eye view from up and underneath. Nothing worse than seeing great gobs of glue ruining the visual effect while you're playing. So that pretty much sees all the posts put in. Now we can look at the magnet locators. Basically a replica piece of the ends, just with the holes cut out for the magnets themselves to be fitted later. Just apply glue. This piece doesn't hold any weight. It's not load bearing, but we do want to put it on so our magnets are going to be in the right spot to line up. Just slide it in. It fits between the main plate itself and the understructure. Give it a good squeeze out the excess glue, and again wipe away with a brush or paper towel if it's a bit easier. The brush does still come in handy at times, getting inside there. I've obviously missed a bit under there. I probably didn't pick up on that either because I was looking at the wrong angle. Obviously try and be a bit more thorough than I am in regards to this video. Again, do the other end. If you're wondering for magnets and polarity, see the introductory video at the beginning of this series to get a good understanding of how the magnets are fitted into the terrain. I'm not going to go through it here because we'll just be going over it time and time again. Again, just cleaning up the excess glue. You notice too, I didn't put too much glue around the area of where the magnet's going to be fitted. That way I don't have to clean out those holes. Just saving on some workload. We don't want dry glue in those holes. Obviously the magnets won't sit flush. Now for the sides, magnet locators. Again, not load bearing, but we want to get it right. So just glue in the center and give it a good squeeze. I did get a bit of extra glue in those holes, so just using the brush, circle around inside and wipe all that out. Again, we want those magnets to sit flush with the surface of the MDF, so any dry glue is going to be a problem. Same for the other side. As well as glue in the holes that we don't want. There are the little rectangle holes on the side. You can just pick them out there. That's where the towers have their little hooks sit in for that downward support. Make sure you don't have any glue in those as well. Otherwise you will have problems with your towers pulling up nice and tight. I've only put glue in the middle of that triangle pattern, so I really don't have to worry about those square holes on the outside. So give it a good going over. Make sure it's all pressed down firm, all the posts are in, and your magnet locators are in tight. We can flip it over, and ideally put that aside to dry. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to keep going, and we're going to move on to the handrails. There are 8 handrails in total. And they will be fitted like so. 2 to each post, so an upper and lower handrail. They slide inside the slot of each post, and the handrail itself can only be positioned in one place, in one way, because of the design. It can't slip left or right, and obviously can't move up and down. So just do a dry run, see how they fit in and where they're making contact, because that contact point on each post is where we're going to apply the glue on the back of the handrail. So you'll see those 3 spots here, 1, 2 and 3. Putting that handrail back in the same spot. Again, it can't go anywhere else but in that spot. We can repeat for the second one, which will sit just above that. Best to do it one post at a time, guide it in, keep it level. You won't have a problem. Now for the other side, we do exactly the same, but it's a mirror image. So you can see those handrails are finishing right on the end of the walkway, right on that last post. That ends up being flush. That'll meet up with the next walkway or whatever piece you put up against it. And the other end of the handrail does a 90-degree turn and points in towards where the towers will sit. They will actually touch the face of the tower, making it look complete once assembled. Just spin that around and do the other side, basically repeating the process. It's best to be reasonably liberal with the glue. Not enough and you're going to have problems with parts coming away. I prefer to use a little more than needed just to make sure there's a good bond, and just spend the extra time again with the brush and the towel just to wipe away any glue that's squeezed out of the joins. It doesn't take long before you'll be working out how much glue to use or not to use, as some might find. Okay, now it's just a matter of going around with our brush, tidying up all that glue. This may take a minute or so, feel free to skip through the video. Again, I apologise if I miss places on this. It can be a bit awkward with the camera sometimes. I don't want to pull it completely out of the way where you can't see something. Or good thing about PVA wood glue, it's got plenty of working time, to such a point where parts may come away, so just be careful. Remember to clean up the back and the front of each post, and it's also a good idea to look as if you were lying down on that walkway. Look up and under the handrails. Again, nothing like getting a model's eye view on a piece of terrain and you look up and under and you see unghastly, unsightly glue left behind. Yeah, I've missed a few spots there. If I catch that on camera, some of them I do. I can see it on the playback video that's part of the camera. Checking my own work. Maybe I should use that a bit more often. Look at those great white gobs. Get rid of those. But pretty much that's assembly finished. Once cleaned up, you can put that aside to dry, and then come back to attach magnets. I must have been pretty happy with that, I think, at this stage. All things kept in mind. Yeah, I think we get it. It's done. It's finished. Let's move on. Get that out of the way. There we go. Yeah, okay, it's done. Let's go. Okay, thanks guys. See you again soon.